Hello and welcome everyone to the January 23rd episode of This Week in Kirkland, the official podcast of the City of Kirkland, bringing you timely topics and noteworthy news delivered to you every week. I'm your host, Jim Lopez, one of two deputy city managers here at the city, joined today as always by two members of our podcast team.
Angela Brown.
And David Wolbrecht.
As well as our very special guest, John Hernandez. And now, due to Lieutenant Hernandez's schedule, we needed to do something a little out of the ordinary.
Yeah. That's right.
And we actually recorded John's segment last week.
Last Friday.
Last Friday. It was really fun. So we'll hear from John later in the show, and we're excited to hear all about the Kirkland Wildland program and the recent deployment of a team to Los Angeles.
Yeah, John told us a lot of stories, a lot of insight, really behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah. Great time getting to know the program and him.
Yeah, it was
totally
amazing. So stay tuned for that. But before we get to all that, here's what's going on this week in Kirkland. Hey, are you ready to pitch a big idea?
Oh.
This is an opportunity to do that. Big idea.
Tell me more.
The Kirkland Business Pitch Competition is back. It was super great last year.
It was.
Yeah, so great. So the Kirkland Workshops and Pitch Competition is accepting applications now, empowering entrepreneurs with tools to grow their businesses. You can gain hands-on experience, build confidence, and learn to showcase your business's value. After the culminating pitch competition, 3 winners will receive $5,000 of grant each.
Yeah,
Wow.
I got to teach a class in that.
That's neat.
Nice.
The
You're teaching them
lean
podcast.
canvas.
Oh, lean canvas, not podcast hosting.
Well, podcast, we could do maybe
We could,
something on
yeah. I mean, you can
But
do
you
an
know-
elective.
that. You know what we do? We use the podcast
As-
this week as an
nice.
example as to how to start up
That's
an
awesome.
enterprise.
Well, and I gotta say, $5,000 grants, like that's
Yeah.
real money.
That's
That
real.
is, yeah.
That's
Can go a
awesome.
long way.
Yeah.
So
sure.
if you're interested, sign up for the pitch competition.
there you go.
Yeah. Hey, now we want to take a moment to honor a legacy and remember Dave Asher's impact on Kirkland. A wonderful human being and great city leader.
That is right. Yeah. So with sad news, we report that former Councilmember Dave Asher, a beloved advocate and 20-year service on the council, passed away last week. He was a beloved advocate for safe routes and to school and strong neighborhoods, as well as, community engagement. Just really
Just a wonderful human being.
absolutely just known to really empower folks to step up into roles of leadership. So many on our council and a ton of staff, including myself, remember him as a mentor and friend who absolutely made Kirkland a better place.
Yes. So our hearts and our thoughts are out to
Yeah.
Dave's family.
Yeah.
And so
Information on Dave's memorial service is on the city's website.
Oh, that's
so
good.
yeah, it's coming up early March.
So look out for that, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, Jim, we'll take this next one.
Yo, the next. Oh, okay, yeah.
Meet,
I see what you did there.
yeah. So meet Kirkland's first Kirklander of the Year award winner.
That's right, Jim. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Folks, what we're talking about is our very own Jim Lopez, Deputy City Manager of External Affairs and host of the podcast, was recognized, or will be recognized actually today.
Today, yeah.
So yeah, it's later today in the time that we're recording it, but it's earlier today by the time we publish, for your incredible leadership and community impact. So the Kirkland Chamber of Commerce and GISA Credit Union is honoring you with the inaugural Kirklander of the Year
Yeah, well,
award.
thank you guys. I kind of forgot that was going to
Congratulations,
Yes,
Jim.
Yeah, well, thank you to the Chamber.
Yeah.
They're wonderful, and Gisa Bank,
Mm-hmm.
and all they do for the community.
Absolutely.
So it's really quite an honor.
Yes. Well
So,
done, Jim.
Yeah,
well done.
so maybe I'll see some of our listeners at the
Ooh, that'd be
luncheon.
fun. Hey, yeah,
great.
signing
We'll have
autographs.
I think we'll have some stickers.
Yes,
Stickers.
absolutely.
We'll
yes.
bring podcast stickers.
Yeah, that's
I'll
right.
pitch the podcast.
Okay, all right.
Hey, so the last meeting of the Kirkland City Council was on Tuesday, January 21st. Here's what happened. On the business agenda, the council received an update on the city's 2025 state legislative agenda.
Yeah, they also received a briefing on the King County Metro K-Line project, super exciting. It also received a special presentation by the Kirkland Performance Center.
That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The mayor also proclaimed a day of racial healing and Lunar New Year in Kirkland. Learn more about the Day of Racial Healing in Kirkland, including resources about racial equity and immigrant resources at links in the show notes.
Yeah, and prior to the business agenda during the study session, council discussed the 2025-2026 city work plan.
Yeah, those are the big things on the agenda for the next 2 years. And of course, council meetings are streamed live on the city's YouTube channel, Facebook page, and website.
Yeah, so please tune in if you missed any of that great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's Community Risk Reduction Week, the CRR.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And this is an opportunity to take action and build safer, more resilient communities, Angela.
Yeah, that's right. So the goal of CRR Week is to reduce risk and protect what matters most, so you and your loved ones. There's 3 simple things you can do to participate. Number 1, test your smoke alarms and replace the batteries if needed.
Nice.
Review or create a family emergency plan if you don't already have one. And then make sure your address is clearly visible for first responders.
Great
so
tips.
trimming back any of that overgrowth, making sure anything is, if it's blocking that address, make sure it's visible.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, there you go.
Great tips. Thank you, Angela.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, while we're on the topic of safety, everybody, the Kirkland Police Department shared a reminder this week.
Mm-hmm.
This is on how to protect your pets from wildlife, particularly cougars
Yep.
and coyotes.
Yeah. So we heard reports of both cougar and coyote in Kirkland. So both species have an ability to travel long distances. It's not unusual for them to be spotted in Kirkland, particularly coyotes. They're far more common. So what you can do to make sure your pets are safe is always supervise them when they're outside. And also don't forget, if your cat or dog is 12 weeks or older, be sure to get them a Kirkland pet license and make sure they're vaccinated against rabies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a story in my neighborhood. My dog, Gracie,
Yeah.
she used to plop herself down in front of the tree in our front yard.
Oh. Yeah.
And one day, she's kind of like the guardian of the neighborhood.
Sure.
And one day she saw a coyote
Mm.
snatching up a cat, our neighbor's cat.
Oh, I bet she did not like that.
She didn't like it, so Gracie's going nuts.
Yes.
Wow.
And the owner, our neighbor, comes running out, saves the cat.
Wow.
Wow.
Gracie.
Gracie.
Way to go.
Boom.
Gracie the Guardian.
She wasn't having
Aw.
it. Yeah.
So
Yeah, she's
sweet.
like, no, I'm the only one that gets to get
So
cats
that's
here.
not going to happen here.
Did
Yeah.
she start
Wow.
patrolling the neighborhood after that?
Sure.
Save Timmy from the well?
Yeah.
Like, how far does her superpower go?
It went far.
That's
She was a
amazing.
presence. She was a presence. I
Pretty
just
incredible.
absolutely adore that dog.
Yeah.
Okay, as the temperatures drop, we're all looking for ways to stay cozy.
Fact.
Isn't
For
there a
sure.
word for that in
Hygge. Yeah.
Hugga?
Hugga.
Hugga? Something like that.
I apologize in
Yeah, I know.
advance,
We
listeners.
probably got that completely wrong.
Yeah.
But you know what we mean.
Yes.
So let's talk about how to keep your home warm and worry-free this winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. So heaters like space. Make sure to keep anything that can burn 3 feet away from space heaters and always turn them off before you leave the room or go to bed. And also, good pro tip is to plug your heaters directly into a wall outlet. Don't plug it into an extension cord or power strip, as that can overheat.
Yeah, we heard from Ryan Schaefer last year,
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
our fire lieutenants, about some of the extension cord safety.
Yeah.
Definitely took it to heart.
Yes.
Made sure that all of our things like that are plugged directly into
And
the
I
wall.
love me a good space heater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're just like a tiny little fire.
I-
What's not to love? you
yeah,
know?
get
Just
that
like,
room.
like
nice and cozy.
nice
Park a
and
couple under the desks at work. You know?
So, let me tell you, there have been times here at work.
One way to keep you at your desk.
Interestingly, though, my office is usually fine. It's David's office and others that I worry.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. We digress.
We digress. So now that we've covered some of the ways to keep your home safe, let's shift gears, everybody, to something that's just as important, keeping our streets safe.
That's right. So coming up on the crosswalk, Jim, what do? You slow down
down, yeah.
early. So, as soon as you see a
Good
crosswalk
tip.
ahead, glance
Just slow
around.
down.
Yeah, just slow down. Glance around, make sure there's no one there. If there are folks crossing the street, be sure to ease off that accelerator. Give yourself enough extra time to stop safely. Prevent last-minute braking, especially in this cold weather. Might have an ice patch, that sort of thing. And remember, stop for pedestrians at a crosswalk. They have the right.
They have the right of way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so if someone is crossing, also stop and let them pass safely. Don't you can wait 5 seconds for them to cross the street before zooming on to wherever you're heading.
And you can wave, too, by the way.
You can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give them the Kirkland
Smile.
wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let them know, hey,
Let
I
'em
see
know.
you.
Hey, I see you.
You're good.
Yeah, that's right. Good eye contact,
Eye contact,
especially.
yeah.
Yeah. Let them know that you
Smile.
see them.
Those are some
If
pro,
you've had your
pro
coffee.
tips.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah. Those are some pro tips.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Hey, you could win a month of free waste management service. Did you know that, Angela?
I
Wow.
do know.
Tell us all about that.
For sure. So you're invited to take the Waste Management Recycle Right Pledge to help increase recycling of plastics, glass, and metal, and to reduce contamination from plastic bags, food, and liquids.
Well, that's great.
You can take the online pledge and you'll be entered to win a month of free waste management garbage collection service. Winners will be notified by phone or mail.
When are we going to the Murph?
Maybe we take the winner to the Murph.
Oh, I mean, we'll have to talk to.
Can we
Waste
talk
management.
talk to Cascade Commercial Recycling?
Yeah. I'm serious. I want to do a field trip. So the Murph is where all this goes, right?
Yeah.
And for our listeners, the Murph, I'm trying to find what the acronym stands for,
Yeah.
but Gina Jan talked all about it a few episodes ago, and this is the giant fancy machine that
They
sorts.
sort everything.
Yeah, it sorts everything. It's like material extractor.
Yeah.
Recycling
It has this mystique.
function. I don't
Facility
know.
or-
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, but I see it as a.
I just see
it's
it
a
as
mystique.
I see it as like a Wall-E style robot.
Oh.
That's just like
that'd be
zooming
cool.
around, moving stuff.
I
don't
see
know.
it like a city that exists in the mountains and only is visible to people.
like
certain
El Dorado.
times. Yeah. Something like that.
I will tell you that my son, who's 4 years old, that's all he wants to do is be a garbage man when he grows up because he
Aw.
wants to help bring garbage away from
I
people's
love him.
houses.
Can you include him on our field trip to the
He
Murph?
would be delighted
Yes.
to go.
Okay, so that's a hard yes.
Uh-huh.
That has to happen. That has to happen now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, a couple of upcoming events, everybody, for you to check out. David, what do we got cooking?
Yeah, heat pumps, cool incentives. Got some workshop coming up on January 28th. Learn to take advantage of rebates and credits to make your home more energy efficient.
And then on February 1st, there's a Lunar New Year
Oh, this
celebration.
is gonna be great.
Yeah, it sounds so fun. Enjoy activities that include crafts, food, dancing, and cultural demonstrations.
And it's the year of
Snake.
the snake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's going to be
Yeah, learn all about that.
learn
at the
all about
event.
that. It's going to
Yeah.
be super fun.
Mm-hmm.
And a reminder, everybody, as always, we have links and more information in the show notes for all of our items.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to our 5 over 5. That would be 5 questions and what is sure to be over 5 minutes with our very special guest. Welcome, Lieutenant John Hernandez.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we're very excited to have you, and we're going to ask you a lot of questions about exciting things and very heroic things.
Absolutely.
Because we have a lot of firefighters down in Los Angeles right now,
That's right.
and
We
you're
do.
overseeing that effort, right?
Yep, I am.
Well, that's great stuff. So now you're a lieutenant with the fire department. And before we go into some of the details of the Los Angeles deployment, tell us a little bit about what a lieutenant does at the Kirkland Fire Department.
Sure. So I'm a shift lieutenant at Station 22, assigned to C shift. So I work our regular 4896 schedule,
Yeah.
kind of oversee the day-to-day operations of the crew at my station.
Yeah, the lieutenants, you guys have a lot of responsibility.
We do.
And many times you're the lead officer on duty, right?
Correct. Yeah. So we respond to all the fire and EMS calls with the crew, and actually sit in the front seat in the passenger seat. Little
You're not
known fact-
driving?
No, those driving days are over. They took away my license.
License.
Yeah.
Shotgun.
Yeah.
Yep, nice. Okay.
So you're shotgunning.
I am
All right.
shotgunning, yeah.
Yeah.
So and then kind of the role of the officer is to come up with kind of the strategy and the plan and make sure that it's implemented.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you do EMS and fire, obviously.
We do.
I heard that we have more EMS calls than fire calls.
Yeah, so it's probably 20% fire related and 80% medical related.
Yeah,
Oh,
wow,
wow.
that's
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah.
it's a
So you
lot.
got to be prepared. Now, you know, you're sleeping 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
You get the call.
Lights come on, grab your stuff, head out the door.
How do you prepare for that?
Oh, I don't know if there's a good way to prepare for it.
That's
turn
fair.
Up, turn up the volume
Turn up
on
the
the,
volume on the
turn
radio.
up the volume on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you wake up.
Yeah, because I heard stories in the older days, firefighters used to sleep with their gear right next to their bed.
Yeah, that has kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Although occasionally we find out like the newer people are really excited and have a hard time sleeping, so they'll sleep with their clothes fully on, like,
is
ready
that
to go.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
ready to
Oh,
go.
wow.
I'd probably do that.
Just like
Save some time.
roll out of bed.
Is
Roll
it-
out of bed.
Yeah, is the fire uniform comfortable to sleep in?
I can't imagine that it is. Yeah.
Now, in addition to being your duties as a lieutenant at Station 22, you are also the Wildfire Program Coordinator.
I
Right?
am. Yep.
So that means you're kind of overseeing the deployment to Los Angeles. And we're just so proud of all of you
Yeah.
and so proud of the help we're giving to Los Angeles in
That's
this,
right.
this time of need. Tell us a little bit about that program.
Sure. So our wildland program, we started in 2018. We have about 40 people that are on the team.
Wow.
Okay.
Cool.
This
40
year, I
people.
think we had 42. So
Okay.
it's kind of a seniority-based process to get onto the team. You have to volunteer. You have to be off probation. Usually it's members that have been around for 2 to 3 years that get on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we send them to about 40 hours of training.
Oh.
Wow.
Some of it's in the field, some of it's online, and then there's also a physical fitness aspect as well.
Yeah.
And then that gets you onto the team and part of the list for any potential deployments that come up.
Yeah, when you say they're off probation, that means they're new employees and they have
Right.
like
That's
Yeah, sorry, I should clarify that.
yeah.
That's okay.
So you get specific training around going out into the forest, right?
Yes.
And that's going to be materially different, probably, right,
Yeah.
from some of the stuff
Yeah.
you're going to expose. And I assume, John, that you have been deployed in such a situation and been in the forest fighting fires.
I have, yeah. That's kind of how I got into firefighting
Oh,
as a city
okay.
firefighter. I used to work for the Forest Service. Started when I was pretty young. I spent about 12 years doing that.
Oh, wow.
Kind of
12 years?
Yeah, 12 years.
Wow.
Kind of worked my way up, and I spent 7 years working as a smoke jumper in Oregon.
Oh, we got to talk about smoke jumping.
All right.
Because
Wow.
smoke jumping is a little different.
It is
right?
a little different. There's not a lot of fire hydrants in the
yeah,
forest.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so take
Fair.
us back to what is it like a typical deployment like? Like, where are you sleeping?
So a typical deployment, for the most part, you are sleeping in a tent. Kind of just think of camping, but not so glamorous.
With
You're-
a fire outside
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah, in the woods, no
Yeah, right.
power, in a tent.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Our crew in California has it a little bit different. They're kind of working 30-hour shifts right now. So they're doing,
Wow. What?
30 hours.
That's
Hours.
intense.
Yeah, 30 hours straight.
Holy.
They have a little bit of time where they can kind of take turns taking little cat naps, and they do that inside of the engine.
Wow. And then what happens after the 30 hours?
So then they get off shift in the afternoon on the end of that 30-hour, and then they're actually allowed to stay in a hotel one night, and then they're back on at 5 o'clock the next morning.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now-
very long days.
When you say sleep in the engine, it's not like engines don't have like the
No room to lay
trucker.
down.
Yeah, like trucker
Yeah.
bed, like
It's not like an RV.
yeah.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
what are we talking about?
We're talking about seats that are straight up and down. Yeah,
Oh
they don't
my-
recline. It's
oh,
not very
gosh.
comfortable.
Okay, not a lot of room.
Not a lot of
probably.
room.
Okay.
Not a lot of
just-
sleep.
They're just amazing.
Wow.
They're amazing.
Oh my gosh.
But John, I can't help myself. I have to ask.
Okay.
Take me back in time when you are in the forest fighting a fire. Tell us about a particularly a dangerous or eventful experience you had there. Did a fire ever like approach you while you were in camp?
Yeah, actually, while we were in camp, it's a long time ago, but in 1996, we were in camp having dinner. And,
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and they came running through, told us we had about 15 minutes to pack up our gear and
Wow.
get out of
Oh
camp.
my god!
I don't think I can like get out of the house.
So you're
in
in
15
you're in the
minutes.
campsite
Shoes
having
on.
dinner, and you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you got 15 minutes.
Yep.
Or the fire's going to be here.
Yep, pack it up. So
Oh my
yeah, I remember
gosh.
taking my tent, all of my stuff inside of it, rolling it up like a burrito, throwing it in the truck, and heading out.
Smart approach, though, probably.
Yeah, it's very efficient. Yeah.
Did the fire come?
It did, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that
Wow.
night it burned over the entire area where the fire camp had been.
Wow.
Wow.
Crazy.
So John, that work wasn't dangerous enough apparently,
No,
because then you went on to be a smoke jumper.
I did, yeah.
But you got to tell us that. I mean, I'm assuming that involves jumping out of a plane.
It does, yeah. So it's just another method of getting wildland firefighters to a fire.
Mm,
And so instead of being in a truck or an engine or a helicopter, you're parachuting out of an airplane.
My goodness.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so you get the assignment, you parachute out, you're on the way down. Did you have ever time where you're thinking, where am I going to land?
Yeah, quite a few times I had that feeling. There's more than once that I landed inside of a tree or at the top of a tree.
Oh,
and
no.
Rappelled down to the ground. Yeah.
Holy
And then
cow.
a few times I remember looking down and thinking, I'm probably going to break my leg on this jump.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
goodness.
Luckily, I made it through 7 years and only had really bad rolled ankle once.
Okay.
Oh, that's incredible.
I mean, that's a pretty good record.
Yeah.
It was a win.
yeah. We'll take it.
Honestly, John, just amazing.
Wow.
Just amazing. So when you get down, you have to like regroup with the team. Like I'm assuming you're jumping as a team.
Yeah, usually you would jump 2 at a time,
Okay.
and then you'd get to the ground. Everybody would group up, get a plan in action, and start going to work.
Mm.
Stay
Oh,
there
my.
until the fire was out or until you got relieved by somebody else.
Jeez.
And you're jumping in with all of your gear, and I mean, what are you
Yeah.
bringing with you?
We would have kind of enough food and water on us to last 24 hours. And then when the plane is done having everybody jump out, it would come by really low and kick out these big, they would call them cargo boxes.
Okay,
Big
crates,
cardboard
yeah.
boxes on small parachutes. And inside of that, there'd be enough food and water to last you for 3 days. chainsaw, tools, sleeping bag, those kind of items.
Oh my
Did you
gosh.
ever worry that you wouldn't find your way out?
No, but definitely have been lost in the woods more than once. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like I have that experience being lost in the woods, but not when there's like a
Fire around
giant
you.
forest fire
Yeah.
somewhere
I-
nearby.
I don't think-
Different level.
I don't think
Yeah.
my question was phrased the best way it could be. Did you ever actually worry that you wouldn't be able to make it out?
No, never worried that I wouldn't make it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
John, we can see why you're running the Wildfire program.
That's
This
right.
is just amazingly heroic, and your team and the people in Los Angeles truly are heroes. I
Yeah,
mean, what they're
absolutely.
doing right now is just amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Super proud of them.
Some of the challenges that besides the wins, which are ridiculous, like we've never seen anything
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
Just the nature of fighting wildland fires. I mean, there's no fire hydrants to plug into, so you're using different techniques, different tactics. Can you go through kind of what your crews are facing right now?
Yeah. So you're right. There wasn't a lot of fire hydrants down there that are functioning right now just because of so much water has been sucked out of the
Yeah.
system. So they have small pumps set up and they're using people's swimming pools and running
Oh, wow.
fire hoses out of those swimming pools. And then they have,
Holy cow.
on the days when it's not super windy, they can bring in the air tankers and the helicopters and use those resources.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's great. So tell us a little bit more about the program itself. Like, how are we funding it, and how does it work?
Yeah, so the program has a little bit of funding from the city in order to buy the equipment. But when it goes out on one of these big deployments, it's actually all reimbursed through the state of California.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So this is one of those intercoordinated
Yeah.
state
it is. Yeah.
agreements, and
Yep.
Yeah.
it's really well organized. So bravo.
Thank you.
So John, I'm going to take you back to your story. Now you went to the Wildfire. You're out in the campsite putting out fires, and then you became a smoke jump for 7 years. How did you come to the city of Kirkland?
Well, I was gone a lot, as you might imagine.
Mm.
I spent a lot of the summer on the road,
Mm-hmm.
and I always knew I wanted to be a career firefighter and that I wanted to work in kind of a metro area.
Yeah.
I wanted to work in like a department that was big but not too big. So we had our daughter. My wife and I had our daughter, and I remember calling her one time and telling her, "Okay, I'm going to be home in about 15 minutes. I think we're getting off work." And about 10 minutes later, the alarm went off, and we got on a plane to California. We didn't come back for 3 weeks. So
Oh my goodness.
it was kind of like years of that. And
Yeah, that's a lot.
yeah.
That's a
So
lot.
then I was
Toll.
like, it'd be really great to be around a lot more while my daughter's, while they're kids.
Growing
So,
up,
yeah.
yeah.
So I started testing for the fire departments, and I was lucky enough to get hired here in 2007.
Meaning we were lucky enough that
Yeah.
you picked the city of Kirkland to come in 2007.
Uh-huh.
That's what we call a family win, John.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, we like to ask our guests this question. You've been here since 2007. Do you have a favorite thing about the city?
Oh, I love the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really
Right.
enjoy the lake. I mean, there's so much.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. So much shoreline, and we're lucky enough to have the jet skis as part of the fire department.
Do you
so-
do that too?
I do. Yeah.
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 That's
So
okay.
you-
Why not?
Add it to the resume.
Yeah, really. Jumping out of planes, flying around the red.
If we had a
the jet
submarine,
ski.
I think
Yeah.
John would probably be that.
Do you cook all the meals at the firehouse too?
I know. We have some really great cooks.
Yeah.
So
So we
t-
hear. Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
just very briefly about that, though. We have a really amazing marine division, right?
Yeah.
We do, yeah. We have 2 jet skis that we use. They're stationed pretty close to the city dock,
Mm.
and so we can respond to calls all over Lake Washington.
Wow.
Wow.
Great stuff.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more in detail about our deployment to Los Angeles. We
Mhm.
have how many engines are there?
So we have 1 engine. We have 6 people,
Mhm.
and part of there was 55 engines that went from the state of Washington.
Holy
Oh,
cow.
wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. And so when did the request come in? Like, talk
Yeah.
us through how that works.
So on the 8th of January, I was actually watching the news, and I was like, gosh, it is really windy, and they're going to probably be putting in a request. And
Oh, yeah.
that night, we got a request that they were looking for 100 engines to go from Washington and Oregon combined. So we have a reserve engine here in the city that we weren't using at the time, and we put out a page for volunteers from our wildland team,
Mm-hmm.
and we had 17 people call in on it
Oh,
within
wow.
an hour.
17?
Yeah,
Oh,
17
wow.
of the 40 called within 1 hour, and we're like, I'll leave
Okay.
tomorrow or I'll
That's
leave right
amazing.
now.
Wow.
Yeah, so we put 4 on one engine, and then the city of Falls City needed 2 more people in order to get their engine out the door. So we put 2 people on their engine
Wow.
to help them out.
Wow, that
That's
just gave me goosebumps.
I
That's
know, right?
amazing.
We'll leave right now.
Yeah,
Right?
So
2-day drive.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So like, so the call comes in, folks volunteer, they
Yep.
get assigned, and
Mhm.
then when are they out the door? When are they down I-5?
So we got them all set up around 10 o'clock or so on the night of the 8th, and on the 9th they were out the door at 7 a.m.
Wow.
And,
Okay.
drove as far as they could on the first day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second day, I think they drove roughly from the Sacramento area. They went through the inspection for Cal Fire and then got all the way down to Malibu
Oh
and
my
went straight to work.
Did they drive as a caravan of fire trucks?
Yeah, they did. So they drove as a strike team. So the
Mhm.
5 engines and
Oh,
then
wow.
a strike team leader, which is usually in a pickup truck.
That's
Okay.
pretty neat.
Oh my gosh.
So how are they doing?
They're doing great. Yeah, they're that first. I think they worked 48 hours straight almost the
Oh my
first day.
gosh.
Wow.
That was they were running and gunning, as we like to say. They got there.
Went
They-
right to
yeah,
into
right
the-
into work. Yeah, they
Yep.
they went. They gave them some food and put them right onto the line, and they had the fire come right up to the development that they were protecting.
Oh my gosh.
And we got some pictures. I think that got put up on the Kirkland site of
Mhm.
air
Mhm.
tankers coming in, and yeah, everybody's doing work right there.
Oh yeah, so you're seeing the coordinated response, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It was engines from all over the
All
country.
And are they come? They have planes dropping
Oh, yeah.
water too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, when the wind's right, the planes will come in and the helicopters will come in.
So how much longer is their deployment scheduled?
So typically the deployments are 14 days. Like they can work for 14 days, and
Yeah.
then because of the drive time to and from California, they should be gone probably 18 full days.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
And then
a
they'll come
commitment.
back here and does
Come-
this cycle until the fire's out? Like what happens next?
Yeah. So sometimes we'll cycle crews in and out. I think this time it'll probably end. They'll come back. We'll put the engine back in reserve status, and they'll go right back on to shift.
Mhm.
Wow. Just
John?
amazing.
Some of the community members asked about, the inspection process,
Mhm.
thinking through like geography, leaving Washington down to California.
Yeah.
Were there any challenges that the crews faced making their way down there? Did the reserve engine make it down okay?
Yeah, so it made it great. We're fortunate that our reserve engine is still really nice. No crews actually got turned around in Sacramento or,
Mhm.
at the Cal Fire inspection. I know that was kind of a big thing on social media, but
Mm.
yeah,
Oh,
no,
that's good to
no
know.
Yeah.
crews were turned around. Those inspections are pretty light. They're looking for fluid leaks, tires. They're not doing smog checks to see if you're allowed to go into the state of California.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
gotcha.
Thank
okay.
you for that
Yeah,
clarification.
Yeah, that's
they're
good to
they're
know.
getting resources down
They're
there to
getting
go to work.
resources to
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
Yeah, they just
Okay.
want to
to
make
the
sure
scene.
because it's such a long drive that the engine is still serviceable once it gets to the fire.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And when we send a crew out, how much does that cost?
So the state of California reimburses us for everything, including renting the engine. So
Oh, wow.
we don't
Okay.
actually have any out of pocket sending our people down to California.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a great program.
Yeah, for sure.
That's amazing.
Now, some of the questions we've also been getting is there any way that our community can support the folks that are down deployed right now or otherwise support the effort?
Yeah, our folks are really well supported. I
good.
think that the biggest thing would be to help the people that are actually in Malibu. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cal Fire has a website with a link that you can donate to. It goes directly to the actual victims.
Oh, wow.
Or,
Okay.
in
Yeah.
Malibu.
Okay.
Well, let me say the love and appreciation from our community for the Kirkland firefighters, for you and your team, is just wonderful, and it
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
everywhere. So,
Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank
we
you, John.
appreciate all the support.
Yeah. We've heard from
absolutely.
quite a few community members who have family down in the Los Angeles area that have even said they saw a Kirkland fire truck go by and how grateful they are to see the crews down there, and just so cool to have our crews go out and support.
my daughters are down there, and I texted one of my daughters saying the city is responding, our firefighters are responding, and I was just really proud to send that text.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I've had a few pictures from people that just see the Kirkland engine driving through. They send them up to us.
Yeah, it's a
Oh.
wonderful thing.
That's really
amazing.
great.
So, John Hernandez, you are a wonderful human being.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, but we have one more question for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so we always like to end our interview segment with just a quick final get to know you.
Okay.
So last question before you go. Do you have a favorite movie, show, or book, or what are you watching, reading these days?
Oh, Well, the last book I think I read was called Barbarian Days.
Oh, that's
okay.
that.
I know,
Does that involve planes and people jumping out?
No, and it
Or-
sounds totally opposite of what it is. It's actually a true story about a guy who traveled through Indonesia surfing.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
discovered
okay.
like kind of all the famous surf spots before
Wow.
most people had seen them.
All right. Now, do you surf?
I love to surf. I would love to say that I'm really good, and I am not. Yeah, definitely not.
I have to tell you, man, I don't know what it is, but like I grew up skating, so I thought I had really great balance, but
Yeah,
honest to God, snowboard, I don't last like 5 seconds.
yeah. And I grew up snowboarding.
Did
and
you?
Surfing is
It's still-
just
it's
still hard.
harder.
Yeah, it's just hard.
So is that like a bucket list thing for you?
Yeah, I mean, I travel around and surf as much as possible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Is that your
awesome.
next foray into chasing that adrenaline?
Yeah,
high? It's like
yeah.
chasing Mavericks.
Yeah, big wave surfing. Here we go.
Well, thank you again, man. It
All
was a
right.
lot of fun.
Yeah, I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming on.
Thank you.
Don't forget to sign up for the recycling
Yes, take that pledge, everybody.
pledge. Mm-hmm.
And that does it for this week. You've been listening to This Week in Kirkland. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and
Share.
Special thanks to Anthony Girardi and Kate Ryan for their behind-the-scenes magic. Thank you so much. Our next episode is January 30th. Until then, everybody,
Stay connected, Kirkland.